Alright, I think we're live here. Cool, cool, cool. Everybody able to hear me okay? All 6 of you. Sweet. Well, I said 2 and it's 2:01, so people could show up. This should be here recorded, so people should be able to watch it later. But I am just going to jump into things. So, welcome. The plan for today is to build a Frog Boy live, as I've announced ahead of time, multiple times. And yeah, apologies for the overhead cam being shaky. It's attached to my desk. Need a real C-stand at some point. But yeah, what I want to first start out doing is, because somebody brought it up and they thought it would be useful to know, was to kind of go through what the ordering process is like for the parts for this. So I'm going to quickly just go over to the Frog Boy color page on PCBWay here. So this is where you're going to get most of the parts from, unless you're part of a group buy. Like, join my Discord if that's something you're interested in. There's several that are going on there. I'm not actually running any of them, but you should be able to trust the people there. No, I am not a frog, but he's right here. I've got one right with me. So anyway, yeah. So Frog Boy color page on PCBWay here. This is where you're going to be getting most of the parts. So that's going to be the PCB, the 2 main shell pieces, and you also have the option of getting the sort of accessory parts, so like the battery clips and the light pipe and the volume wheel and things. But those latter smaller parts, you can download the files for those. You can take them to JLC PCB, or order them from PCBWay if you want. Print them yourself in whatever you have. But what I'm going to run through here real quick is the PCBWay stuff. So on the main page, I do highly recommend reading the description, definitely checking out the GitHub. Read this whole thing. I highly recommend reading this even before you think about ordering parts. Like, it should answer all of your questions in regards to how thick should the PCB be, what surface finish is good, is there anything that you should know about, like tapping threads, for instance, in the shell, that kind of thing. Yes, I did implement stereo. So it is 2 speakers on the front. It is the actual left and right channels, and it does still have a headphone jack. So full audio capabilities there. So yeah, read the whole GitHub. Very valuable information. We're gonna, today as I build this thing, I'm gonna be following the assembly guide, and we're gonna be going through kind of like the step-by-step process that I've laid out here for building it in easily testable stages, so that you can kind of sanity check as you go along that what you're doing is working out. So yeah, read all that, come back to PCBWay. You'll see that there are several different buttons. It's not entirely clear what you're supposed to do here, but I'll go ahead and walk that through. So the page itself is primarily for the PCB. So over in this box here, that is what this is going to be for. So you see you have an option for getting only the PCB. So that's going to be a blank one. Let me just switch to my overhead again real quick. So like what you see here. So no components populated at all. You're going to build the whole thing yourself. Pretty straightforward. You also have the option for PCB plus assembly. So I have uploaded the bill of materials and the Centroid file for them to do PCBA, so that's PCB assembly for this. And that's going to include all the parts, I believe, except for sure the Game Boy Color ones, so CPU, RAM, crystal, cartridge slot, link port, that kind of thing. I don't remember if I left the USB. I think I left the USB port and the headphone jack on there. So it should be basically everything. So all the little capacitors, the resistors, the fuses, the chips, yada, 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 that stuff. Where is the frog? It's already on my shirt bed. The real frog is in a different room, and I don't want to disturb him. He's peacefully sleeping right now. So yeah, the easiest way of getting the PCB with exactly the settings that you want is selecting only PCB, going to add to cart. All right, well, that's annoying. I'm going to go over to my own account. Add to cart. You'll see that it brings up this dialog box here. And this is nice because it actually dials in all the important settings for you. So, for example, the only thing that's absolutely necessary on the PCB is 1 millimeter thickness. That's the only thing that you have to do. Like surface finish, hassle is fine. Honestly, no problems at all because we're using tack switches. Like there's no button, membrane contacts, any of that kind of stuff that you would need like Enig, for example, on. But if you want to go premium, you can go Enig. That's actually what this board I have here is. Yeah, so basically you just select all your options. You can select a solder mask color. They might hassle you about black because they'll say, oh, the pins on the CPU are too close together or something. I've seen mixed results on that. Some people have gotten it just fine. Sometimes they're like, yeah, you can't do that. Select a different color. But try out whatever you want. See what they say. Select your quantity. It's going to be, roughly $93, I guess, for 5 of them. If you were to get 10, it's probably maybe 100. So if you want to order a lot, economies of scale, they kick in really fast. And then, from there, all you have to do is click submit, and that's going to go into your cart, and they're going to review it, and eventually they'll come back with, maybe the quote will change slightly. With PCBs, that's not so much of a thing. And then once they approve it, you can pay for it. They'll make it, ship it. That's relatively simple. If you do PCB plus assembly, it is a little bit different. So it's going to take you to the quick order page. The first thing it's actually going to ask you is what is the order of the layers in the PCB. So for this, and I need to add this to the GitHub, but if you're doing this yourself, so layer 1 is going to be F, layer 2 is in 1, layer 3 is in 2, layer 4 is back. The ordering of the inner layers shouldn't really matter as long as you get like the front and the back correct. So layer 1 is front, layer 4 is back. Should be fine. Click submit on that. Unfortunately, if you do the assembly, it does not automatically select the correct thickness. So make sure 100% that if you do this, click 1 millimeter because you're not going to be able to fit this if you get a 1.6. Or a 1.2 or a 2 or anything above 1. I wouldn't recommend going below that either because it's all designed to work with a 1 millimeter PCB. Otherwise, everything's basically the same. So you can select your solder mask color, you can select your surface finish, all that kind of stuff. Everything I said before still applies here because there's nothing really required. Down in the assembly section, so you'll see that the bill of materials in the Centroid file are already attached. I suggest going with the turnkey option. So basically, people are engineers at PCBWay are going to look at the bill of materials. They're going to see what parts you need. The bill of materials doesn't specify part numbers for some of them, like resistors and capacitors. It's not super important, but they will go and they'll find appropriate parts for you. They'll come back with a quote for the PCB plus the assembly plus the parts cost, and then you'll be able to pay for it then. So that's relatively simple. The next thing that I'm going to cover is ordering the shell. So if you scroll down on the PCBWay project page, you'll see that there are a number of CAD parts here. So the first 2 are the ones that you can only get on PCBWay. Those are the only ones I'm going to cover here because I think it's probably most important that these are correct because they're obviously the most expensive parts. And I'm only going to show it for the front shell because the steps are essentially the same for front and back. So what you're going to do, whether or not you want a CNC shell, so like aluminum or stainless steel or something like that, or like 3D printed resin, you click the cart button. It's going to take you to the 3D printing and CNC machining page. And so by default, it lands you on 3D printing. So this is where you would get resin, for example. What I have personally done, my resin of choice, if you're going to go down that road, is the UTR 8100 transparent resin. So that's what you would see on, for example, in the video where I had the clear purple back shell. That is what this is. So you would select that. Under surface finish, the only thing you have is dyeing. So again, this is how I got it to be purple. The default is just a regular clear. So you can click and select whatever color you want. I think you might even, you can select like specify a specific Pantone color if that's what you want. I don't know how trustworthy those are because Sometimes the color comes back and it's kind of exactly what I'm expecting, and sometimes it comes back and it's a little bit different than what I was expecting. Always looks good, always looks fine, but keep that in mind. For 3D printed resin, I do not suggest having them tap threads. The screw posts aren't like super thick, and like resin is a relatively soft material, so it's not gonna hold threads very well in general. So I think it's best if you just like kind of self tap the screws in there. You could try it out if you really want, but I wouldn't personally take that risk. And then the only other thing is, and this more applies to the front shell, but you should click it for both the front and the back, is on printing risk, you will want to say wall thickness risk taken. And that is because the sort of surfaces around the D-pad and the buttons and stuff on the front piece are relatively thin, especially for resin printed parts, so there is a risk of those breaking. With PCBWay, I've not actually had that, but it can happen. And if you click this box, generally they will not hassle you about it. They'll just be like, okay, you accept the risk, we'll go ahead and print it out. They'll get you a quote, and then you can pay for it. So same kind of thing with the PCBs. I'm not going to give like price guidance on these because it varies a lot. And I would say, especially for the CNC shells, if you get a really high quote, like above $100 in regular 6061 aluminum, for example, for one half of the shell, wait a few days, submit a new quote, try again. I've seen a very wide range. I've seen anywhere from like $60 up to like $250 a half. It definitely trends more towards the lower end of that, but keep that in mind. Resubmit it if you want to see if you can get a cheaper quote. But that brings me to CNC machining. So if you want to get an aluminum shell, some people come to 3D printing and they'll see, for example, aluminum and the stainless steel options. This is not CNC. This is like sintered, like metal powders printing. So it's kind of like SLS nylon. I know, pizza. It's crazy. This is a sintered 3D printing, so it's still a layer by layer thing. It is real aluminum, real stainless steel, or whatever. It is not the same. You're not going to get the same tolerances. Certainly not the same surface finish. So what you need to do is you need to come over to CNC machining at the top here. Put in your quantity. It's going to give you some really low quote that is absolutely not correct. Like it's 100% going to go up. And then you can choose your materials. So default is aluminum 6061. I think this is the most economical CNC option. Some of the plastics might be as well, but I'm not sure how well they would stand up on sort of like the thinner areas. Might be worth trying. Could be interesting. Stainless steel is very cool. Obviously more expensive, more machine time, that sort of thing. But select your material. Aluminum, as an example, has lots of surface finish options. So my sort of go-to is anodization, and specifically bead blasted and anodized. So CNC to ABS it is kind of a funny concept to me, but it's fairly common, I think. Bead blast plus anodized color. So the bead blasting is going to give you a smoother, more uniform finish. It's going to hide a lot of the machining marks. So if you like machining marks, you could just get raw aluminum. You could get just raw anodized aluminum, so like no bead blasting, anything like that. But I sort of like the smooth look, so I go with bead blasted and anodized. Again, you can choose colors, a bit more limited, but that's fairly standard, I guess, for aluminum parts. They'll give you a warning about, there might be marks from the anodization rack. The technical drawings that I've provided should account for that. I have said, try and keep the racks like on the inner sections of the shell where you're not going to be able to see them. But if they end up on the outside, you might see like a small like blemish where they were. Not a huge deal, but keep that in mind. So press OK. I've already attached the technical drawing, so this specifies the most important dimensions on the parts. It shows where and how deep to tap the screw holes. And that's the other super important thing for CNC is you do want to have them tap threads. So go ahead and just click yes on this threads and tapped holes section. Don't need anything to do with inserts. I haven't had a problem not requesting tighter tolerances. Like it's turned out fine. But if you want to be super, super sure, you can say, yes, I need higher tolerances, and you would do 0.05 millimeters for the front, and then you would do 0.1 millimeters on the back. But I think the default is 0.2. Everything should be fine with that. I haven't had any issues, but just keep that in mind. It's an expensive project. You don't want to come out with a subpar piece. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can pay extra for a premium finish. I've always done standard, and it's always come out looking great. Inspection reports, these aren't really required. Like, I think if you do that, you're probably more likely to get exactly what you've asked to be machined. Like, they're going to go through and like cross-check it against the technical drawing and all that kind of stuff. But that's if you need like really tight tolerances and that kind of thing. But yeah, that is it. It's a similar thing for the volume wheel and the battery clips. The volume wheel, I do recommend getting it CNC machined. So just kind of follow the same guidelines that I laid out here. Click the cart button, choose all your options. Don't need to specify any different tolerances on that. The battery clips, highly recommend SLS nylon, which is kind of like the sintered aluminum. It's sintered nylon powder basically. So they shoot it with a laser and they like join it together. It comes out really nice, really good for structural parts. And then the light pipe could be printed with clear resin. It could be FDM printed with clear filament. All of mine, I print my light pipes. I just print on my Anchor Make M5 with clear filament, and it comes out fine. But you can also download these ones. You can take them to JLC. The JLC will charge you a lot less for the battery clips. They will also charge you less for CNCing the volume wheel, so that is a good place to go to get some of the smaller parts cheaper, because they have lower minimums on their CNC'd and their 3D printed parts. So that's why they're separate, because you don't really want to be paying $40 for a volume wheel that people keep complaining about, but whatever. Thank you, Matt. It's very nice of you. All right. That covers that. If anybody has any questions, say them now. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to building this thing. I'm going to switch back to the overhead camera here. Alrighty. And then again, apologize if it's a little bit shaky. It's on a... It's mounted to the desk, so it's not super stable, but it should work fine. Cool. So yeah, like I mentioned before, we're gonna be following the GitHub project page. So I'm gonna pull this up for my own reference. And before I start building, people did have a lot of questions about some of the tools I was using. So what I'm gonna be using today is the Peinzel. So this is my go-to soldering iron. It's, you can power it with USB-C, so like it plugs into my bench power supply. It's super convenient, doesn't take a lot of space up, unlike my old Weller station. To go with that, so I've got solder. This is Kester 6337. I love this stuff. It flows so smooth, it's so shiny, really good. I think a lot of it has to do with the flex that they use, not so much the the ratio of the tin to lead, but it's really good. It's my favorite. I have this little Hako, whatever, brass wool for cleaning the tip. Nice pair of tweezers. These ones are nice stainless steel ones I got from IPS Craft in Japan. Solder paste. So normally I would also use 6337 leaded solder paste. That is my go-to for that, because if I need to go in and like rework something, it is a lot easier to rework if everything is just leaded from the start. Like, you don't have to worry about like mixing different solder compositions and that kind of thing. But today I'm actually opting for this Chip Quick stuff that is mostly tin and bismuth, and it's a little bit of silver. So this is actually like a low temperature paste. I think it's around 130 C. The only reason that I'm doing this here is because once this board has a lot of stuff populated on it already, especially on both sides, it's sometimes hard to get this guy, the MHP30, directly under a part that I'm trying to solder. So I wanted something a little bit lower temperature though, so that if it's like a little bit off center, it still heats up sufficiently for the solder to melt and flow. So that's the reasoning that I'm going with there. And then yeah, lastly, MHP30 mini hot plate. Love this thing. I use this thing all the time. It's incredible. There's an MHP50 now, which is the same exact thing, but like bigger. So instead of 3 by 3 centimeters, it's 5 by 5 centimeters. Still waiting on mine. There was a delay. I think there was a software problem, but I'm very excited. But yes, they have this. I think it's linked in the description. You can get it on Amazon. Retro Game Repair Shop has it sometimes. I don't think right now. I think you can also get it from Adafruit, which is where I got mine. But yeah. All right. Let's build a Frog Boy. Let's see. What do I want to start with first, actually? So I kind of organized all my parts. Yeah, I guess I should probably go through like what parts I'm gonna have. So PCB, CNC aluminum shell. So it's front and back. Got a funny playing screen kit. I have the cartridge shield from a Game Boy Color. Because it's kind of finicky, I went ahead and like ahead of time I pulled out the cartridge slot and the link port from my donor GBC because, oh God, depending on how I'm feeling that day or what the weather is like, who knows? Yeah, that can take from anywhere from like 5 to 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. So I just pulled them off in advance. I have my battery clips right here. I did not print out a light pipe, unfortunately, but that's something I can throw in later. And then, of course, I have all my electronic components and that kind of thing. So, yeah, let's go ahead and pull this back in here. And I'm going to pull up the GitHub real quick. Let me show that. So the first part that we're going to work on is scrolling down to assembly. So we're going to do part 1, which is assembling and testing the power circuitry. So that's going to be the 5-volt regulator, the 3.3-volt regulator. This thing, it's a PFET. It's a PFET for the 5-volt drain. And then the supporting circuitry for that. So I'm going to switch back to the overhead, and I'm going to start putting this together. And I'm going to go on mute now, just so I can make all sorts of weird human noises. I was afraid of this. My tip is too small. Throw a bigger one on there. No worries, consoles and casks. So I'm in an attempt to be smart. I like pre-sorted all my parts. So like I have them sorted by step. So hopefully I'm not spending a lot of time like futzing around looking for parts, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This is the 3.3 volt LDO. It's a linear dropout, I believe. So now we're gonna get that smushed into place there. we go. That's the inductor. Volt drain PFET. And then this is the most important piece going on right now for, I guess the 3.3. You can say the 3.3 is just as important. Shoot, I've forgotten. Okay, top right. Top right is where the dot goes. Make sure you pay attention to all of the pin 1 markings. Otherwise you're going to have a bad time. That looks fine. Definitely gonna have to do some cleanup on that once it flows into place. Okay. All right, now we're gonna put on all the passives here. It's a 22 microfarad capacitor, I believe. Let's see, I think, let me pull up my bill of materials here. I think C30 and C15 or C16 are both supposed to be 1 microfarad. Yes, that's correct. I don't quite have the bill of materials memorized, but I have a lot of it memorized. Okay, and then let's see, I think this one's kind of obscured. What is that? So C13 is the one to the left of the TPS 61202. That is a 10 microfarad. So that's the input filter cap for 5 volts. And then R21, I believe, is 100K or 10K. No, that is 150. It's very different. Let's see. Pizza asks, any special tricks with that QFN chip? They can be tricky as fuck to get. Oh, sorry. This is supposed to be a family broadcast. I'm sorry. Yeah, they can be tricky as F to get connected properly. Yeah, so obviously use a hot plate or hot air station if you can. The way that I do it with paste, because I can't get a needle fine enough to just like get onto the pads, is that I put more than I need, because you can't really avoid that. I flow it into place, as we're going to show, and then I make sure it's like kind of smushed down, and then I'll come in with an iron at the end to like kind of clean up any bridges, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hot plate out here. Let me refocus. Oh God, that's as focused as it's going to get. I'm going to switch lenses, 1 second. Would I recommend a Pine-Sol? 100%. Like, to be perfectly honest, I prefer my Weller. Like, if I had the space to keep my Weller at my desk at all times, I would still use the Weller. But I don't really miss out on much of anything, to be perfectly honest. You know, it has a slightly better feel, that kind of thing. Okay, there we go, that's about right. Yeah, low poly source. You have 2. Nice. I would love to, if I found the time to do something that's not Game Boy related, make a CNC aluminum shell for the Pinsel. I think that would be really cool. Although maybe somebody's already done that. I'm not sure. All right. Jesus. I would call you a slacker too, but you already built one of these, so I can't. JP Scotty has invested in a hot plate just today, a cheap one from AliExpress. If it's the $20 USB-C PD one that I'm thinking of, that one is okay. It's pretty good. Definitely would recommend only using low melt paste with it though, because assuming that's the one you got, because it's a very thin piece of aluminum, so it doesn't hold heat very well. And 4-layer boards, you might just be out of luck. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna let that get fully up to temp. Yeah, agreed. Pinsel is it's a great value proposition. Honestly, I think for people who do this as a hobby, kind of like here and there, it's probably the best option because it is such a great value. And like if you already have a USB PD brick around, yeah, it's so cheap. ET10. That one doesn't sound familiar. Did I forget to populate C30? It looks very empty, and I don't think there was anything there. Okay. Let me get my box back. Yeah, that was supposed to be, yeah. I think I did. Oh, one other super nice thing about the Pinsel is that it heats up so fast. Like it's like 5 seconds to 350. It's ridiculous. That's 350C. Should be good. So we're gonna pop that off. All right, yeah, I think yeah, this lens is just not nearly as good. What's up, Gib? Alright, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean up the... Yeah, I'm going to keep doing this. Come on. God, this lens is just so much better. Oh yeah, you got to be careful with that hot plate. Luckily the MHP30, it cools down pretty fast once you unplug it, so. Can I get some flux on this dude here? And so we only care about the top and the bottom sides because I'll see about that later. So yeah, just gonna come in here. Yep, that looks good. And let me get the other side here because there's definitely some blobs, some bridging going on. That also looks fine. They look like they're probably connected. Okay. I'm not really going to bother cleaning as I go because this is just going to go in the ultrasonic at the end. Cool. Let me see. What am I doing? All right, so I'm going to test this now. I don't think my battery terminals are long enough to do the thing I showed. Oh no, they are. They are. Let's do that. So switch VCC1, just like on the Game Boys. That's battery voltage pre-switch, pre-battery switch or power switch, and then ground is this one up here. So it's okay. And if the battery immediately explodes, then you'll know I did something wrong. That was something I forgot to mention. Do not, under any circumstances, get unprotected cells when you're looking for batteries. Like, make sure it has the overcurrent and undervoltage protection. That's super important. All right, so in theory, we should have, oh God, should have 5 volts on this pin here. But I don't. Interesting. Let's see what do we have on. What do we have on the battery? 4 volts, so that's fine. Interesting. Let me see if we have a. See what if we're getting the correct thing out of the 3.3. I'm a dummy. I'm not following my own guide. This is supposed to go to VCC. We want the because we haven't installed the power switch yet. Keep in mind, I've built like 6 of these things. I should know this. Okay, let's try that again. I told y'all I was going to embarrass myself. Yep, 4.99, yep, that's 5. And then, that's probably not the right. No. Wait. It would help to get my leads the right way around. Yep, 3.3. All right. So yes, that first step is a success. We're moving in a good direction. No fire. I'll make a fire if I want. I'm an adult. Oh God. Should be noted I keep my AA batteries right next to where I stow my soldering iron. It's very safe. Cool, yeah, so we're done with step 1 here. We're going to move on to step 2, assembling and testing the battery charging circuitry. Cool, yeah. So I'm done with this box. I don't think there's anything else I need from that one. So I'm going to bring out my next box. my next bag of tricks. And we're going to install. I'm going to save the switch for later. I don't want to do that yet. Here we go. We're going to start with, I think, these two pieces here. So this is my TI charge chip right here. All right, flip this over. Let's get this back into view. All right, so that's like the heart of things. So let's go ahead. That's a lot of paste. I'm just gonna spread it around. Big old fuse. And one of these parts, this is the iteration of the PCB before the one that's on PCBWay. So you'll notice I don't have my frog pin 1 indicators. Don't have any of those personally. Also, I'm not populating R13 because it's vestigial. That was left there by mistake when I changed out the on-off circuit. Yes, that should be good for now. Okay. Cool. So let's see. The charge chip, again, top right for the dot. So it's gonna. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in there. Beautiful. Done. We're just going to leave it like that. So here we go. Going to get the main fuse here. This 2.5 amp dude. Keeps it from blowing up, theoretically. And let's see, the on-off chip going on now. I think somewhat surprisingly, this may be the single most expensive component on this board, outside of like the harvested stuff. Oh, this dude? Yeah, I love this guy. He's great. Oh, Kirk, I didn't even realize you asked about the orientation frogs. We're just the same person, secretly. Okay, let's see. I think Q1, actually I do need the box back, because that is also a PFET. There we go. All right, and time to reference the bill of materials here, the BOM. Let's see, C10, what is C10? C10 is 4.7 micro. And then let's see, R12, that is 10K. R10 is, that might also be a 10K now that I think about it. That is also a 10K, yep. All right, C12. It's probably 100 nano. Oh, where is it? Yep, that's 100 nano. Froggo my Lego, how dare you? How dare you? R5, what is R5? $3.3K. R7 is going to be 2.2. Gonna be honest, I designed the battery circuit so long ago, I don't actually remember what most of it does. That one just kind of worked, surprisingly. Let's see, I need a 49.9K. Is this like a GBA? 3.3K ohms. These are resistors. And then, yes, this is kind of like a GBA. But not. It's a Game Boy Color, it's better. $49.9 was R6. No, go back. Oh no. For 200K. One of these days I'm going to open up one of my little compartments here, streaming live, and the weird part value that I need is just going to be just not there. It's going to be gone. And I'm going to be so upset. Does it run Sonus? Oof. Sure. C11. Wait, where? What is this? Did anybody see where this random capacitor came from? I must have accidentally picked up two, but I don't want to put it back in there in case it's something different. So I'm gonna have to get rid of my little grain of sand that cost me 1/10 of a penny. All right. R13, I think I mentioned earlier, is vestigial. It doesn't connect to anything. I forgot to remove it, so it does not need anything. Okay. I don't really want to switch lenses again, but I also feel like people would be disappointed if they couldn't see the paste melting. That's like the whole draw of this. It's the only reason I'd be watching. I hate this. There we go. Plug the old plate back in. Thank you. It just hit the export center HDR. It's on the way, but unfortunately I think I'm going to be gone when it arrives, so it could be a few weeks before I actually get to use it. But it's going to be brass, and I haven't seen anybody with a brass one yet, so I'm excited. Oh, disclaimer about the PCBWay thing. I probably should have said that, but yes, I do get a kickback when you order from PCBWay, from that project page. And that'll fund my obsessive need for more hot plates, so please. Support me and my kids. And by my kids, I mean my frog. Wonder if PCBWay could machine a titanium. Don't put a sarcasm tag on that, man. Like, don't let your dreams be dreams. Hot plates, yeah, it's true. I think I have 4 hot plates and 1 on the way, if you can believe that. I have 2 MHP30s because of the summer contest. Yeah, this lead-free paste definitely is not as nice as the leaded stuff I normally use. Oh boy. Okay, I think that's relatively straight. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Put that to the side where I can't burn myself. All right. What's it doing? I don't know. What do people think of the video quality on this one? Is it substantially different from the better ones? This one's got pins on all sides, so I'm going to have to tackle all sides here. There's a lot of excess on that. Might have to replate that. I'm going to inspect this off camera real quick. I think that's okay, actually. I think that's fine. I got some bridges on my on-off chip here. I'm going to take care of those. Always use high-quality flux, kids. Quality looking good to me. Okay. Guy in the top left is really... Oh, thanks. That warms my heart. Yes, okay. Power switch. Power switch, power switch. And then I'm going to go ahead and tackle this as well. Yeah, no reason not to, really. It's probably too much. I'll have to clean that up, but it's okay. Let's get this power switch on. So, for those of you who haven't seen the video, I'm sure you all have. This doesn't have a slide switch, it has a momentary switch. All right, let's see here. So let me pop these small bits on here first. So the last things we have to put on are video broadcast and background removal on webcam inputs. Well, was there something embarrassing in my closet? You saw the bodies? Background is pretty close to chroma key grain. It is. It is. Maybe next time I build something live, I can have like a frog picture. Yes. Yes, what I was saying. So, ooh, I think I missed a pad. 1 second. Yes, so these are the 5.1K resistors for 5-volt negotiation from USB CPD power bricks. So you can use C to C cables. Anything that doesn't have those, I'm like, why? Space frogs, yeah. And then this is a 1 amp resistor. This is really more for protecting your USB device than it is for this. Okie doke. And then, let's see, what color should I go with? I have orange, yellow, white, and green. What do people think? I feel like I have another one in here too. I'm gonna do green. Oh, orange. Okay, we got a couple for orange. The people have spoken. That's very true. I was actually very bummed that the AliExpress listing for these, which I should throw up somewhere, because they're perfect. They're perfect drop-in replacements for the USB-C port I recommend. They have a lavender one, but there isn't actually a lavender one. You choose lavender and you get like some other color. Truly heartbreaking. Because that would have looked really good with the purple shell. I think Plus Size Mods is having a stroke. What am I looking for? Hot plate. We're gonna get these on, and then we're gonna test out the power button, and then eventually we'll get to testing the charging circuit. I'm lazy. I don't really test that until I have my power LEDs on. While I'm waiting for this to heat up, I'm going to share my newest conspiracy theory, which may have actually already been verified. I think that Twitter does not promote your posts if you link out to other social media, because I posted about the YouTube with the link yesterday. almost no one saw it compared to my other tweets. So, yes. That's the only conspiracy you'll ever hear from me. Pretty sure that's been confirmed. That's what I thought, but I thought maybe they had backtracked on that. Could be wrong. Just gonna let this solidify. Oh, I think I forgot to refocus. Sorry about that. All right, let's do the power button. Warning! Oh, my hot plate. He's yelling at me. What do they do? I don't know what that means. That's not helpful at all. It was just flashing warning. If anybody knows, let me know. Ouch, that's hot. That's hot, Chris. Okay, just gonna do a little bit of cleanup on the USB port. Those bridges are gonna blow me up if I leave them. No bridges on the power switch. That is very nice. That doesn't happen every day. Where are we at? We're at the 1 hour mark. I think we're making pretty good time. Grab one of your other 3-ish hot plates. Yep. Might be a good time to crack out the new MHP30. That went much better than I was actually expecting. I don't think I melted the plastic at all. Look at that. Suck it, Retro Future. I'm not here to start beef. I should stop. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup here. I'm gonna put these parts away, and then I'm gonna I wasn't expecting Rocky and Bullwinkle lore to get dropped in here. I have no idea what's going on. Yes, I'm going to clean up a little bit here, and then I am going to test that the power switch works. Sure. Yep, okay, it presses fine. Get my battery back here. Oh, yeah, right. I need to... So at this point, because we have the power switch installed, we're just going to attach this to the regular battery points. Making sure... I'd say red to positive, black to negative, but I have actually heard of cases of AliExpress batteries where the black was positive and the red was negative, so I do recommend checking with a multimeter ahead of time. I don't think it's very common, but you've been warned. Alright, so multimeter back in voltage mode. There we go. Okay, so what do we have on our 5-volt output right now? We have, yeah, negative 20 millivolts, that's fine. Press the button. And then, hey, look at that! We got 5 volts. And then let me press it again. And it should be dropping. Yep, cool. That's exactly what we want. So that tells us that, well, it tells us that the on-off circuit is working. But it also somewhat tells us that the battery charger is at least not going to explode, because the BQ chip here also handles power path management. So it handles the actual, like the battery output comes from there. You put the battery in there and then it spits it out again. So it should be okay. But I also didn't go to college for this, so, you know. Okay, good testing of assumptions. I don't think that's a sarcastic remark. Thank you. Cool. All right, we're gonna move on to the big shit stuff. My mother would be very proud. Oh wait, no, sorry, I sound like Todd Howard apparently. That was, I think that was the biggest takeaway from the, second biggest takeaway from my video about the Frog Boy. Never would have expected. That's what I was going for. I was going for Tommy there, yeah. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna pop off the big chips here. So I'm gonna pop off the CPU, RAM, and the crystal. Fun fact, fun frog fact. I think every time from now on my hot plate heats up, I'm going to share a fun frog fact. The fun frog fact is that even as fully grown adults, every 1 to 2 months, it's kind of weather and temperature dependent and all these things, a frog will eat all of its skin in one bite. So they'll just kind of stand there, they'll shed it from the back to the front, and they'll suck it into their huge mouths. And I've seen this, and it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. But they also come out with great skin. So honestly, like, if I could have that skincare routine, you know, maybe get some protein. Okay, this is hot now. Am I sure I know what frog means, or what fun means? Yes, I think that was a very fun fact. It's at least educational. And isn't learning fun? Effed up frog fact. Yeah. What's our progress looking like here? It's unbelievable the amount of people I had asking after the Frog Boy video, like, what is that little hot plate? Where can I get that little hot plate? And this is exactly why it's magic. Oh, that's not quite. Almost there. When lifting chips, you gotta be very careful. You don't wanna. You need to make sure there's basically zero resistance when pulling it off, just like that. All right, let's go for the RAM next. Oh yeah, one thing. This is noted in the GitHub repo, but I forgot to mention it in the video. You need a CGU CPU 05 or below for this. The 06 has integrated RAM. Early SoC, I guess you could look at it that way. It's not compatible. It's got some other changes. The pinout's very different. So yes, if you have a 06, it's not going to work. And by that I mean you can see the number there. And that kind of applies to all of the or at least most of the full board replacements for Game Boy Color stuff. Oh, this one wasn't glued down. The one on the video gave me it gave me a hard time because that one was actually like, it was glued down. Okay, let's see. So making sure that's cool enough. So I'm going to switch to a knife tip. I've actually realized recently that I have progressed far enough, and I'm about to embarrass myself by saying this and then screwing it up probably, but drag soldering, I think I've finally gotten the hang of that. So not going to use paste. Not going to use paste this time. All right, hot. Don't need anything else from that board, so we're done. Done with that. Let's get this back under here. I do sometimes as well, Jack. Did it in the video, obviously, but I don't know. You just leave the tip in the brass wall like a savage. Swapping. Dang. Dang. Forgot to turn it on. No fun frog facts when I'm waiting for the iron to heat up. It's too fast. I think my thing with drag soldering is I didn't like the knife tip, like the K-tip. But it really is like, oh god. Oh god. It is the best for this. In my experience. So, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. I was going to touch it with my bare hands. They're Game Boys, they'll survive. I see people harping in the various Game Boy discords occasionally being like, oh, you gotta wear your ESD strap. Mako senpai noticed me. No ESD strap. That's aligned enough. K-tip is best. It's got its uses. I wouldn't say it's the best. I like the I don't know what it's actually called, but the flathead screwdriver kind of one. Is that the largest K-tip? This is the larger one. I would like to get the fine one at some point. I think I would probably use it more as a multi-purpose tip if I had that one. That looks good. That's pretty happy with that. Another thing I forgot to note is this was a known working Game Boy Color, so generally they're fine. Generally the chips are okay, even if the board is like really grody and nasty, but like, yeah, I'd say if maybe you have less experience, you know, go for something that you know works. And need a little more flex there. ESD straps are perpetuated by big static. I agree. I think all of us in here probably watched that LTT video with Electro Boom. bit stubborn. Oh, almost. So close. Might just take a little bit of wick on a... Oh, wait. There we go. Got it. Just inspect. So I think, yeah, this one I still have a little bit of bridging up here. Do the old flicky flick. That reminds me, did anybody ever play that Genesis game? I think it was just called Flicky. It was like you were a bird and you had to save other little birds. It was on one of those PC collections back in the 90s. Along with Kid Chameleon, which to this day creeps me out. That's why I'm a Nintendo man through and through. Oh, I didn't realize Flicky had an arcade version. It was a lot of fun. I played a lot of it. A Master System. I could see that, yeah. It was it didn't seem to have Genesis caliber graphics. The one I played on PC may have actually been a Master System version. I do believe. I think that's fine. I don't see any gold pads left, which is generally a decent indication that everything went fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Oh, that flipped over. There we go. All right, yeah, this is the correct way. K-tip supremacy. In this case, yeah, I'll admit it. I just could not make it work with the like the screwdriver kind. That was always like doing 2 pins at a time kind of deal. Once again, huge shout out to Gekio for making his Game Boy keycad footprints available. That's, oh god, saved me a lot of time. I think I used the RAM, the CPU, link port, and cartridge port ones. With attribution. If you're using open source stuff, guys, always give proper attribution. I'll go and fix up the bridges on that later. Let me go ahead. Was that even on screen? Gekio is a legend, yes. I like it when he pops into a Discord I'm in briefly, says something incredible, and then leaves. Absolute Chad. Okay, that side looks okay. Let me see, come on. Okay, I think that's fine. Gonna once again inspect. Oh, no. Not quite. Okay. It's like top left and bottom right. There's still like one little bridge on each. Yeah, I think that's got that. All right, cool. Sweet. That's should be the last. Oh wait, no. I still need this. Totally forgot the LCD connector. I need to drag solder that. Where is my box? I forgot to sort that earlier. It's not in there. I'm a very organized person. Here we go. Thank you, Nova Arc Channel. It is somewhat odd to me that these ribbon connectors, and it might just be this model, I might find a different one, do not have like registration pins. It's very annoying. Because if they had registration pins, you would be able to line this up a lot easier. Is drag soldering FSC connector the most common technique? I think it depends on who you ask. I see a lot of people drag solder these. I think it kind of depends. Hot. Wow. I think it kind of depends on how much you like drag soldering in general. It's like if you do it for ICs, you're probably going to do it for an FFC connector as well. The tricky thing with these is that they tend to have longer pins that suck up a lot of heat. lot of bridging there. Got several pins that aren't quite, they're not tacked down yet either. Really cannot get these last 3 pins. Let me see. Okay, I think that's... Okay, I think they're all soldered down now, so I just need to clear bridges. The anchors. Yeah, I agree with that, Mako. If you do it on the hot plate, it does make it a lot easier to do the anchors. That is like the thing I don't like about drag soldering them. Occasionally I do the trick that where I like pre-tin all the pads and then put flux on it and then put the piece in place, and then I'll like put it on the hot plate. And that'll work for quite a bit of stuff. I've had mixed results of this kind of piece though. All right, I think I'm gonna have to, God, I got a lot of bridges. Okay, that cleared out a lot of them. Okay, I'm gonna get some braid and kind of clean that up a little bit. Let me see, I thought I threw a little chunk into my mystery tub. Oh, I did. There we go. This is a bit hard, but let me see if, yeah, you can see there's like some bridging there and there. Soldering the FSCs is probably your least favorite part. Yeah, yeah. It sucks. Okay, that cleared all the bridges, so at the risk of reintroducing them, one last fluxing, one last drag, just to make sure it's all distributed evenly. I think that's good. All right, cool. Sweet. Did this come out of focus a little bit? Yes, practice, 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 practice. Cool. All right, yeah. So what I'm going to move on now is, yeah, so we're going to do the crystal here. We're going to do this. That's the reset IC. So basically that's going to keep the CPU turned, not turned off, but like it's going to keep it in a not running state. until the 5-volt rail comes up high enough. So that's going to go on as well. This guy, that's for one of the pins. I think might be right. One of the cart pins. And yeah, and then all the decoupling caps. Oh, I need to get the anchors on that FFC at some point. I'm just gonna shoot some paste in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll put the crystal on here. No orientation on this. Doesn't matter. Just put it on. And then, let's see. Back to the bomb. I think C7 is going to be I think these are all going to be 100 nanofarad for the most part, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to slap 100 nanofarad everywhere. Could do 10 as well. I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I'm going to do that, actually. Going to be real bold. Experiment live. Shoot. Gotta clean the sticky flecks off of my tweezers. No, actually, I think on the original GBC, I think that one was 100. So I'm going to do 100 there. Okay. 100. Yes, having the PCB factory do it. I love PCBA. I have some of these PCBA, at least on an older revision. But that would have been cheating. C29. That one's probably what is that one? Is that 100? Is that a 1? Is it on here? That is a 1. Okay. All right. Let's see. R1 is going to be 10K. Oh, come back. It's going to be that's a pull-up. Excuse me. It's the pull-up resistor for the reset line. Let's see. R2. I think that's like 150 if I remember right. Oh, it's just 100. Alrighty. I'll get that chip in a bit. Let's see, R3, I think that's going to be 1.5 mega ohm. That's for the crystal. That should be in here. Let's see. Yes, there we go. think next time I should try and like get some music I can spin up during this, so y'all don't get bored. Let's see, C3 and C2 are going to be those crystal caps. And the C2 is 18 pico, C3 is 27 pico. Okay, so I think this is the 27 picofarad. Yep. This is going to go on top, and yes. I'm sorry, plus size mods, but you this is taking up too much space. Timeout. Was anybody actually reading what was going on there? That is always an option. Okay, and then I think the yes, TLV803. This is our reset IC. Cool. Let's get the plate heating back up. All right, fun frog fact time. And you can decide for yourselves if this is, I think it's more fun. The pumpkin toadlet is a frog so small. And it's kind of weird because they're actually smaller frogs, but it's a frog so small, and its inner ear canals that are for balance and stuff are so small that they cannot control themselves after they jump. So they just kind of like hop and just kind of tumble around in the air. It's hilarious, actually. It's kind of like, I don't know if anybody else had these as a kid, but I had these little plastic frogs that had like a lever on the back, and you put them on the ground and you push the lever and you'd release, and they'd like jump. And more often than not, they would just kind of tumble through the air. It's a lot like that, actually. So there's your fun toad fact. They're very cute. You should look them up. Bonus fun frog fact. Toads are all frogs. All toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. So, respect the toads. Oh, I'm glad they have them like in Europe too. That's great. I should try to find some of those. Those were great. I played those a lot. Although, to be honest, that was before my like whole frog obsession. That came in adulthood, oddly enough. I think I accidentally got leaded solder on some of those pads, so kind of made it gross. I'm actually going to clean up just a little bit just to make sure we're good here. Specifically looking at these ones near the I think that's probably leaded residue. That should be fine. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think, let me double check the board, but I think theoretically I'm ready to turn this thing on. Let me make sure again. No bridges on the CPU, the FFC. Yeah, RAM still looks good. Okay. Yeah, these lead-free joints just aren't as shiny. It's just not as pleasing. Oh well. Sweet. Let me grab my screen here. Throw this down there. Okay. All right. Let's pop this open. There's probably flex all up in here, but what can you do? Okay. There we go. I swear, if this turns on first try, I'm gonna be so happy. So happy. See, I'm gonna keep the K tip on for now, just in case I have to reflow anything. Let me put a little bit of flex on here just to get these a little nicer. Yeah. All right, place your bets. How do we think this is going to go? Going once. I don't actually know what the lag is like on this. I don't think it's great. Hey! And that looks like correct colors, too. Not too bad. That's the second one in a row. I think I finally got this. You only have to build 6 of these before it goes well. I think Jack probably knows how I feel on that. Sweet. All right. I'm taking this battery off. And I'm going to go throw it on a pile of paper. That's a safe place for it, right? Okay. I am going to refill my water. 1 second. All right, here we go. We got momentum. Can't stop now. Let's see here. So I think before I put on the big stuff like the cartridge slot, what I'm going to do is I am going to tackle the remaining surface mount stuff. So this is where the GitHub kind of breaks down, because I'm like, order doesn't really matter after this point. Just like do it right. I think at some point I'll go back and rectify that. But for now it's like, it's harder to test these things in isolation, to be perfectly honest. And as a software engineer, you know, testing and isolation it's a nice thing to be able to do. Yeah, so that up there, those are that's the resistor array for the link port. The stuff that I'm pasting right now, this is going to be for the battery indicator. More or less the exact same circuit that I have in the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Pocket indicators that I have. Cool, and yeah, that's the last of the parts on this side of the board, so that's good. That's yeah. I also test in prod sometimes. Not proud, but you know, sometimes you don't really have a choice. Especially if your forefathers or your forebears have not done things the way they probably should have. Should make a Frog Boy color with eyes. You know, the original plan before I the original plan before I decided that I wanted stereo speakers was to have a frogulator like for the 5-volt rail, so it was just going to drop in basically. And then I went with stereo sound and I realized I didn't really have the space for it. So, you know, that would have solved the eye thing. But, you know, I could probably figure it out. What is that? That is obscured. That is R. That's 18. Okay. Let's go back to the bomb here. 5.6K. Gonna be honest, I'm pretty happy with how this whole streaming thing has gone from a technical perspective so far. Add LEDs to the start and select buttons. Yes. LEDs I think will be coming at some point. Not soon, but they will be coming at some point. I just have other things I want to work on now. Let's see, that one's a 5.6. Okay, right there. Oh. Resistor right there. And then let's see, what is R25 supposed to be? 47K. I don't think I have a 47K. I think I'm all out. Oh, let me see. What is R23 supposed to be? That'll tell me. What? Oh wait, no, I think that's 430. I think R23 is going to be 430K. Need to go back and sort this bomb better. Yeah, okay, so that's 430K. I think R24 is actually the one I'm interested in now. So 20K. See, what do I have? I'm going to play fast and loose with this. Because R25 and R24, those are just a voltage divider for setting the battery threshold. I think so lower on that one it's going to get us a higher, yeah, okay. So like, you can kind of play fast and loose with these to a degree. It's supposed to be a 47 and a 20K. I'm gonna do 15 and 43 because that's what I have, and like, you know, that's kind of sort of in the ballpark. I think if my math is right, it'll probably turn the low battery indicator on a little bit early, but I'm not too worried about that. And then this is the hysteresis resistor, so I'm gonna go a little bit lower on that as well. So, oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna pull this off. I'm gonna go with 18 and 43. I have 18s. 18K. I think that'll be closer. Sweet. Okay. And then I think C32 and C31. Yeah, those will both be fine with 100 nanofarad. Why do I hate R13 so much? Is that directed at me, or is that directed at that guy I timed out? Or is it directed at both of us? Let's see, I need the analog comparator now. This should be the one. Final piece of the... didn't populate it. Yes. I explained that a couple times. This board revision... this was the first board revision after I changed how the power switch worked. And R13 was part of the original one. And I forgot to get rid of it because it didn't actually give me an error in KiCad. Like the design rules check. It was just a warning because it's like, oh, this isn't really connected to anything. So it's not needed. Yeah. And the one on PCBWay, it's in addition to the orientation frogs, it has R13 removed. Okay. Oh boy, I need another fun frog fact because I'm about to plate up. So this is going to be more of a fun frog story instead of a fun frog fact. So I have one frog. I had two frogs. One tragically passed away, and I can cover that story next. But I have one frog, and I would say the most interesting thing about him, his name is Warner, is how I got him. So this was like 11 years ago. So he's at least 11 years old. That's one interesting thing about him. But this was 11 years ago. I was working at a Walmart in the fruits and vegetables section, so like the produce department. You know, just in the back room, minding my own business. You know, shooting the breeze with my coworkers, and we just see something hopping along the floor, and some guy was like, "What is that? A turd?" And I go up to inspect, and it turns out to be, you know, this little frog. You know, he's like that big, maybe. He's real small. Apparently, had come in on a fruit and vegetable shipment. From Florida, maybe, something like that, because that's kind of where his species is from. But yeah, anyway, I was just like, you know, spur of the moment, I was like, saw a big gulp cup that was already empty, like sitting on a desk, and like I took it, you know, rinsed it out, gathered him in the big gulp cup, brought him home, you know, got him a tank after work, and he's been with me ever since. It's wild. That was how I got into the whole frog thing. Like, he was the impetus for that. So fate got me into frogs. Okay, let me see. Yes, I just need to do a little bit of cleanup on the resistor array there. There's some bridging, that's fine. That's pretty normal with the paste. Fate favors the frog, yes. Let me see. I don't think I have any bridges elsewhere. It looks like all the components are the right orientation. I have some reservations about this paste. Like, it's not super shiny like I like, but I do like that. Like, it really flows. Like, stuff just like snaps right into place at these normal temperatures I use. There we go. Actually, that was great with the K-tip too. That was just touch it and you get the whole side at once. Maybe I'm changing my mind about K-tips. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Next side. So what are we gonna do next? Next we're gonna do. Yeah, that's capacitors and filters for the link port. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do the power LEDs. We're gonna do the amps. And then I'm gonna throw it into the. Oh, shoot! I forgot. I never actually. K-tip best tip. Yeah, you might be right on that. I forgot I never actually got the anchors on this port. See, this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, K-tip, it's just not as good, but yeah, I can live with that. I'm trying to get frogged tonight. I'm trying to get frogged every night. I realized I didn't open my live stream with that, but I didn't have anything to slap down, so. You know, it just wasn't in the cards. Alright, I'm gonna get those. Let's see. So, C8. C8. It's 100. Hundo. K-tip kind of sucks for tinning fresh SMT tabs, though. Yeah. It's if they could invent like a perfect soldering iron and a perfect K-tip that like gets really hot right at the point, that would probably actually solve most of the issues. But I understand that's hard because there's just a matter of surface area. Let's see. I need to get my. There we go. Here's my ferrite bead array. Okay, and then C25 and C26 are probably going to be both 100 puff. Oh no, C26 is a 100 puff, C25 is a 22 puff. I don't think I have either of those. Oh wait, no, I have a 22 here. So that's C20, C25, okay. God, it's a big old blob. It kind of reminds me of frosting. I wonder if rounding off the backside of the tip could be useful. Huh. Anyway, I think my 100 puffs are in this box of secret parts for secret projects. Because I had to top up along with getting my secret stuff. Is that the one? Well, that's really annoying. Neither of these actually... $35A, $22. Okay. God. Normally mouser labels are pretty good, but these ones they did not. They didn't actually list the capacitance. Like, you have to look at the model number and kind of figure it out. It's kind of a train wreck if I'm being honest. I think 28 and 27 as well are 100. Yeah. Okay, so I need to do these. The R20, one of these is, all right, now we're getting into the battery indicator lights. R20 and R18 are both listed as 5.6. So R20 is going to be, that's going to be the high battery, I think. I'm thinking for this one, let's see. I think I'll do white. Yeah, I think I'll do... Yeah, I'll do a white. I'll do a white high battery, and then maybe a yellow, maybe an orange. Do I have any red LEDs left? Sure don't. Okay, well then it's going to be orange. So I'm going to go with the 2.2K on this. See ya, Eat Noom, Moon Eat. See, orange. What direction is... in case it's not clear for people, so the silk screen on these diodes is pretty standard. So the closed end is the cathode. So the arrow points towards the closed end of the little silk screen line. So on this one it points left, on the top one I think it points right. I have seen the opposite for diodes occasionally, and it's just enraging. It's kind of like how tantalum caps have the stripe on the positive side, whereas the electrolytic ones have it on the negative. It's just like, why would you do that? We have standards for a reason. What color should I do for charging? Maybe purple. I don't think I've done purple for a charging indicator yet. Where did that go? Where did this resistor come from? Nobody knows. I basically refuse to hand solder LEDs at this point. It's just, one's this size. Anyway, it's just too high of a risk of melting something. Love your GBC tack buttons, especially the start, select, and collision. Oh, thanks. I was, personally, I have not sold myself on the start, select. I think it kind of depends, on your specific membranes, and it depends on a lot of factors. I'm not personally a fan, but I'm glad people are liking them anyway. I just thought it was a kind of a fun thing to throw in for free since I wasn't doing them before. All right, that looks good. Let's see, before I heat up the hot plate again, because I can't come up with frog facts forever, I'm just going to go ahead and get everything left populated, except for the buttons. Those are going to come last. I gotta clean this off. I'll take care of those resistors up there when I put that volume wheel on later. There we go. Time for the 2 audio amps. Let's see, so C18. Yeah, normally that would be a 100 microfarad tantalum, but I am all out of those, so I'm just going to use these 22 microfarad ceramics for now. They work. I haven't actually noticed a huge difference, so yeah. And then let's see, C20 and C23 are both going to be 220 nanofarad. Oh, I still have a few of those. I think it's about time that I'm going to top up my box here. I'm starting to run low on some of the common values. Let's see, C21 is going to be, so 1 microfarad. I think there's going to be another 1 microfarad on the other side. I think it's going to be 22. Yeah, 21 and 22 are both 1. Thank you, Nova. Let's see. Yeah, Jack, I haven't actually tried. I haven't tried Start Select with metal buttons. Yeah, I should do that. I should give that a shot. Let me see. C17, C24, I think are probably paired. All right, I'm just gonna C27. Am I misreading that? Oh, C17, C17 and C24. Got it. C17, C20. Oh, those are also 1. Shouldn't have closed that. I'm gonna get some music playing for myself. Let's see, what do I have left? I have R15, R16, R14, R15. R15 is 100K. Right there. I think R16 is probably another 49.9. Yeah, it is. I think did I throw that off to the side somewhere? 1.5. That's what is that? I think it's probably in one of these boxes. Yep, there we go. R14, what are we looking at for that? 150. Right there. That one is that's responsible for the headphone switch stuff. I do remember that. And C24, what is C24? I think that was also 1. That was, yeah. I forgot to populate that one. Okay. Wait. I did populate that. Well then. Throw that off to the side. Let's see here. I think my amps should be in this box. Yes, here we go. See, where is? I need to remember what the orientation on these is. Oh, okay. It looks like pin 1 top right on that one. Yeah, pin 1 top right on both. Come back. There we go. I think that's, yeah, that's everything. Cool. Should be the second to last time I pull out the hot plate. Okay, fun frog fact. Fun frog fact. I'll tell you about my second frog that I had. His name was Freddy. Also very situational in terms of the way that I got him. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to go out and like buy a frog, but like if they come to me, it's a different matter. So this was the first team gathering I had at work after the start of the pandemic. So this was like 2021 or something, and we had a get together at my boss's house, and we were playing a long game out there, and we were setting up the long game. I was just busy doing that, and then somebody was like, "Chris, look out for the frog," and there's a frog just like hopping right next to me. And so like my boss's wife brought me a like a clean deli container for like the sliced meats, like gave it to me, like I put him in the box and I took him home. Yeah, he don't know what happened there. He died after 2 years. I don't know. Not sure what the cause, but I was very cut up over that. Or cut up? No, that's wrong. I was very, very sad. Very sad. He was a good frog. He was very angry. He was angry right up to the day he died. Very aggressive too. Like he would put crickets in his tank, and he would just be like immediately right after them. Rest in peace, Freddy. I buried him in a little pot that I have a Game Boy painted on, a little flower pot, and I have a butt plant in it. So he's given his life force to the butt plant. Yes. If you don't have mice that you found at your boss's house, I'm going to be very disappointed. Yeah, I think, oh man, the low melt solder did exactly what I was hoping. This part is pretty tricky with the hot plate because you have the battery indicator circuit on the backside, so you can't like get it fully under there. But that worked great. Yeah, just like enough heat was able to spread over to melt those just fine. Sweet. Oh, stinking. I forgot about this one though. Then I have the power button back there. It should be fine. Yeah, that totally works. Okay. I think in the future I might use leaded for most, but then use like the low melt for the pieces that are kind of like in awkward spots. I think that's going to be the way to go. Your old office had a mouse infestation. You should have taken some home. Should be a pretty, not much of an investment because they only live like a year. Did moving out have anything to do with the mice? That looks good. All right. Gonna clean up the bridges on the amps. I have had bad experience with amplifiers multiple times on multiple projects where there was a small bridge that I couldn't see and it ended up like popping fuses and stuff. Oh yeah, I gotta clean up the ferrite bead array up there as well. I don't know if that's actually clear. No, I don't think it is. I might have to wick some of the stuff. There's probably just too much. I realized I didn't refocus on that last hot plate. First board swap I did for GBA had a bridge on the amplifier that took me hours to spot. Yeah, God. That reminds me that I still have one of the original like N64 Freak GBA boards partially done. I think it boots. But I've definitely not finished it. And I should get back to that. That's been years though, so I don't know how motivated I am at this point. Too many of my own projects to do now. No, that's still not cleared. Or maybe it is. Okay, no, that one's definitely cleared. Okay, so that one's all good. That side is fine. I'm not gonna touch that. That one is still little bridges right at the top of the legs. It's like the worst spot. Come back to that one. That's cooled off a little bit. That cleans up like magic though, so that's nice. Woo! That whole thing was moving briefly. Yeah, there's definitely not a him problem. Or her, I don't know. Oh God. One more run at this and I think it should be fine. All right, no, I'm taking some braid to that. That's, I think there's just too much. All right, it's definitely clear. Yeah, this is what goes into, well, not all the frog-powered stuff, but also most of this work, not so much anymore. For the stuff in my shop, I get basically everything PCBA these days. I was very much thinking of closing down the shop if I didn't switch to PCBA, because it was getting to be way too much on top of the day job and everything. Yeah, I think before I throw this in the cooker, I'm gonna test the charger real quick, because I can do that now. All right, so let's see here. Sweet. All right, we got a power light, so that's good. So that means that's working. And then what about when we plug this in? We get our purple charge light. Sweet. So yeah, I think we're all good. Now we can do the big stuff. I was about to forget those entirely. Here they are. Here they are. Sweet. All right, let's get this in. Oh wait. Oh god. Yeah, make sure you clean out your ground hole if you used it for testing. Otherwise, you might end up. Ah! Stop. I'm trying to get it from the other side. Oh yeah, there's a big old blob here. Oh, come on. There we go. Band. Sweet. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do the packing tape thing that somebody recommended. I don't remember who that was when I trim these pins. Take my flush cutters here. Just gonna clip them off in pairs. I actually think this step may not be fully necessary. I'm pretty sure I've ran these before without doing this, but like, I also don't like risking it because I have seen people cook their screen ribbons if they haven't taken care of this, even in like regular Game Boy Colors. So better safe than sorry. Yeah, that prevented most of them from flying into my face. That was good. It's a good recommendation for putting the Froggo sticker with stuff. Are you asking, like, what's a good thing to put the Froggo sticker on? You just dodge them. Yeah, that's what I normally do, but I've gotten hit near the eye before, so, and I kind of need those. Oh. Oh, with the K-tip I can hit two at once. Oh, damn, that's sick. I think I might actually be converting to K-tip supremacy. The wonder, yeah. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, yeah, those are trimmed enough. Let's see, link port next. We'll do that. Honestly, harder to remove than the cartridge connector sometimes, because of these stupid winged anchor pins. I'm just gonna dodge this time. All right. That one's not clipped fully, but that's fine. That one's not really. All right, and then let's see. I think the last thing I'm going to put on here before I throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner is the headphone jack here. So let's go ahead and do that. Get that on there. Honestly, probably my favorite part to put on. It's just so easy. It's so easy, so clean. Thank you, Mako. Thank you for joining. There we go. Brilliant. All right. Let me just double check to make sure I haven't forgotten anything here. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. I'm going to go off camera for just a minute. This is one of those cases of probably like, do not do what I say or what I do. Because I'm not an expert on ultrasonic cleaner safety, but like, I do put my parts in a little Ziploc bag with isopropyl alcohol. This is 91%. And this is like something that NASA does, or at least they did in the 60s. They have like a white paper on it. And they were like, how do we clean things with like, you know, volatile solutions without blowing everything up. And that was basically what they came up. Yes, exactly. NASA approves. We're going to go dump out the old. Look at this. I actually use this one a lot. It kind of looks like pee, honestly. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of organize a little bit. Get this battery out of the way. I still need the solder, I still need the flux. Okay. Yes, I'm just going to clean up this board because we're actually going to start the build here very soon. I'll wait to clean that actually. So I am going to I'm going to switch to my normal tip because I'm going to be doing the speaker wires. I think that's one of those situations where the K-tip just isn't really going to work because those pads are too small. I'm not going to be able to get the surface area I need on there easily enough. So just recently did a test between SRA 35 and Simple Green. Simple Green did a way better job. Do you dilute that at all, or do you just pour the Simple Green like right into the baggie? What was I doing? I need. Here we go. Boop. Boop. So I'm going to go ahead and get these out as well. Have them prepped. See, wire. Oh, God. Only got one. Not scientific by any means. Yeah, well, we can ask Mr. Chemist in the Game Boy Discord. See what he thinks. My wire strippers. That's probably too long, but that's fine. There's a small chance that I managed to finish this by the 3-hour mark. I shouldn't get my hopes up, but like, you never know. No, these are not Switch speakers. These are just some random. I think CUI is actually the company. These are some speakers I found on Mouser and DigiKey. The Switch ones I think are larger, if I'm not mistaken. Although I haven't really done anything with the Switch outside of like a single LCD replacement, so Not an expert there. I'm going to tape down my speakers because they are very magnetic and they will absolutely stick to the iron. And it's very annoying when they do. Whoops. There we go. Heat up, heat up. See, look at how fast this heats up. Just like lightning. I think I was exaggerating when I said 5 seconds earlier. It's closer to 10 or 12, but it's still very, very quick. Yeah, try not to keep the iron on these for too long. They're, you know, obviously they have to withstand it, but they're only rated for a few seconds at a time, so be very careful there. I'm going to dab a little flux on each joint, just a little bit. Just like that. All right, and then I think I'm going to go for blue on the left. Takes a while to solidify. There we go. And then we're going to do yellow on the right. What is the most amazing is that it gets its power via USB. Yes. Although, obviously you need a USB PD supply, so we will truly be living in the future when your normal computer can supply, you know, 60 watts through a regular, or through any of its ports, I guess. Ah, come back. Cool. Those look good. I'm gonna give them a twisty twist because I just like it. I don't think it does anything for the audio quality or anything. I think it looks nice. And it keeps things organized. All right, there we go. So, I think, yes. The cooking is done. Oh, let's see what we got. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. The alcohol. I think because I did most everything with paste and didn't need to use like just huge amounts of flux. Came out pretty nice. Yes, Steph. Pine-Sol is definitely 10 out of 10. For certain, like when you consider all the factors, yeah. If I had unlimited money, I would totally get a different station, but it's not the way it works. See how clean this came out? Like, look at this. I mean, there's some spots that you're gonna have to rub at, but it's just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And then the rest of that should evaporate off relatively quick. Oh. You see it splashing out. Do it for the aesthetics, absolutely. And look, then you can use like the extra alcohol to like clean up your mat. It's perfect. It was meant to be. I was actually planning on doing that anyway, so. Cool, so we're gonna install the final things. Tack switches are gonna go on. I save them for last specifically because I do the ultrasonic cleaning. If you're not doing an ultrasonic cleaning, you don't have to do that. You can just install everything in one go. I have never had luck putting my tack switches in the cleaner. Like 25% of them will come out just not working. So I just don't do it anymore. I know Jack, for example, Jack throws everything in there, the whole thing, and he has no problems at all. So yeah, whatever. Maybe a simple green trick is, maybe that's the secret. All right, let's see. Did I get enough? 8, yeah, 8. 8's enough. This is probably the easiest part for me after I spent, God, lots of hours hand assembling the Game Boy Color tack switchboards in the old days. I had that down to a science. Absolutely no regrets having those assembled, though. Then we're going to do the volume wheel as well, and these, I guess you could call them like bias resistors for the volume. Okay, let's see. Let's place these tack switches. Come on. All right, and then I need the volume wheel, which I think should be in this box somewhere. Yes, there we go. Still need to open up my Frog Boy to replace the switches with clickier ones. You do you, boss. I personally, I like I think it's the 1 Newton ones. I tried the 1.6, I think, on an MGBC, and wasn't a big fan, but you know, each their own. Everybody's got preferences. All right, I am not going to refer to the BOM. I'm currently finalizing some changes to R17 and R19. It's not a huge difference, but my goal there was to fix a small issue where if you turned it all the way down, the audio would actually come back on, and then also reduce the highest volume just a tad. So let me see, what do I have? So I think I did not apply this to my schematic. Well, that's great. I gotta go searching for that information then. I'd like to say it was a 15K and a 5.1. One moment. Yes, so R17 is 15K, R18 is 5.1K. Cool. Button wheels in the Frog Boy, I think the tactile feedback would make it feel more natural to me. That's totally fair. 5.1, 15 for some, okay. R17 is 15K. Right, and then I have to go find my 5.1s back. Found it. All right, crack out the hot plate for the last time. I need one more fun frog fact. Fun frog fact. Most frogs breathe through a two-stage version of what's called buccal pumping. So basically, and you can see frogs as they do this, you'll see that the floor of their mouth, which I guess, you know, this part here, will like rhythmically move up and down as they breathe. And basically what they're doing at that point is, on one stroke, they will close their nostrils and open up their, like the sphincter to their lungs or whatever, and they'll open their mouth, which will draw the old air out of the lungs. And then they'll close that sphincter, they'll open their nose, their nostrils, and then they'll like open and push out that air and then, you know, draw it in through the same way. So they're kind of like a car engine. It's pretty cool. There's also four-stroke, but that's not really a thing frogs do. Also, they can breathe through their skin to some extent, which is why they need to be slimy and wet. That fact wasn't long enough, but, you know, them's the breaks. Here we go. That should be good enough. Let's get that on there. Oh, it's getting dark, but this is the last hot plate thing, so I'm going to switch the lens out after this. Yeah, I love putting stickers on water bottles. I have, if I leave the room again, I'll go grab my water bottle, but I have a specifically Game Boy Creator sticker water bottle that I take to the gym. I love it. Still searching for some of the more rare stickers to put on there, but I got Mouse, I got Cody, Natalie, Retro CNC, lots of good stuff. This doesn't look very exciting. I'm just going to assume it's fine. All right, that one went. 6 is going. Let me... Come on, come on. I think it's taking a while because it's not fully flat because of the little solder lumps on the battery contacts back there. Okay, there we go. That one went too. Okay, and then let's just make sure that that's good. That should be good. And then let's get this one. This is getting very hot. Oh, of course. One of these resistors came off. Okay. I think that's good. Yeah, that's all. Sweet. Okay. That is, I think that's the MHP30. We're all done with that. Touch the corner right at the end, of course. All right, let me switch to the better ones. It's also getting dark in here, so like I think that's going to be preferable. So it allows more light in. There we go. Hey yo. That's so much better. Sweet. Okay, that's the board done. Is the volume knob steady? In my experience, yes. It is a very tight friction fit onto the post of the potentiometer. So I'm still tweaking things sort of there, and you know the STL or the step file for that one is for the volume wheel is available to everybody. So like if you want to download it, reverse engineer it, whatever, like make your own volume wheel, like, you know, absolutely, I welcome that. Because I realize there are people with strong opinions about it. I strongly like it, but you know, if you don't, that's fine. Just don't be a jerk about it. All right, so what are we going to move on to next? So yeah, we're going to move on to final assembly. So I think in theory everything is good. So what I'm going to do is bring this guy back. Yes, this is CNC'd, bead blasted, anodized in dark gray. And I think what I'm going to do here, I already picked out the buttons. I'm going to go for like a Nintendo 64 kind of color scheme. The original plan was Super Nintendo, but I realized I did not have any red buttons. They were used already, so that wasn't an option. But I still had all the stuff to do more of an N64 deal. So that's what we're doing. Gonna put those in, put the membrane in. You know, again, these are just standard SP buttons. You can use the retro CNC ones. Use the plastic ones. The funny playing ones work really well, in my opinion. So that's what I tend to use. For the membranes on the start select, so like my guide says, you know, get 2 sets of membranes and use the light, the backlight button membrane for, you know, 1 for each of those. But Jack actually pointed this out, is that you can actually just like cut the SP start and select one in half, and it actually works fine. So I kind of like the clean look of having, you know, the perfectly circular ones, but this is actually perfectly serviceable. So like, and this isn't a clear shell, so it doesn't even really matter. Takes deliberate effort to change the volume. Yes, it's a pretty stiff knob, which is nice. Sorry, family stream. And then, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call this double-sided tape, just for brevity. I'm going to apply this double-sided tape just a little bit on kind of the side area of each of the speaker wells, out of the way of the holes as much as possible. That way, like, once I put them in there, they don't really move around, which can be really annoying. If I can get this. It is, in fact, not actually double-sided tape. It is it's an optically clear adhesive sheet that I was using for like lamination tests. But it works great as double-sided tape. Like, it's really thin too, so you don't really get any issues with dimensional stuff. So I'm just gonna put that right in there. You know, there's a little bit outside over the holes, but that's should be okay. That one did not work out well. No dust filters over the speakers. I don't think I have any. I've been looking into it recently. I would like to do it. I just don't know what that material is called. If anybody has any ideas, would love to hear it. I'm actually thinking, I wonder if I could use, like, it's very thick, but I'm wondering if I could use some of this foam as kind of like a, you know, for that purpose. Coffee filters, I was thinking that, yeah. But I drink instant coffee like some kind of animal, so never have it on hand. That kind of defeats the purpose of the double-sided tape, but I kind of want to try it. We're experimenting live. Thank you for bringing that up. I think it'll fit fine. The question is, am I going to be able to keep these seated before I get the PCB in place? That's my concern. Okay, that one's fine because that one like presses into like that membrane there. I'm gonna get a little bit of Kapton tape to just hold it down. We're gonna find out. That is a very real possibility. But we can test that pretty quick here. We don't have to fully assemble it to check that. Thread those through. There we go. Okay, sweet. Okay. Where are my screws? Here we go. Yes. All right, and then let me get my battery clips here. I need to hook up the speakers first. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it could, because it's a very crisp sound, kind of unlike Game Boy audio without it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think it's going to come over super well over the stream. Like, it could sound fine to me and just sound like weird hot garbage to everybody watching, but hopefully everybody understands that that's, you know, just a thing that can happen. So let's see. All right, I need to do this right. So I'm going to do blue is positive. I messed this up I realized I messed this up in the video. I was saying, like, make sure you you connect both blues to positive and both yellows to negative or whatever. And on the video I accidentally did it the wrong way around, and I realized it. So like, the shots where you see me playing it, I had actually gone back in and fixed it. I was just getting so tired of working, like filming for the video at that point, that I was like, I don't really have time to reshoot this. So I just didn't. I probably should have. Oh wait, no, I gotta come in from the other direction. Dang it. I forgot, because the clip is gonna come through there. One thing I would like to do in the future for sure is like, rather get the opinion on sound quality straight from the source. I will tell you then. What did you miss? I don't know when you left. It works, or at least it did work at one point. I have not fully tested it yet, but it should be fine. But also, welcome back. Let me make sure I still have, yes, I still have blue to positive. So that's what I'm going to do on this. I think I cut these wires just a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but you know, that's just how it is. Okay, let's get a battery in here. Let's do one for now. And then we will test out the sound. Do this battery. I actually sacrificed another Frog Boy for these batteries. I'm getting more in, but yes, thank you, Bucket. Please please summarize the frog facts for him if you can. All right, get the clip in place. Grab a screw here. Get that screwed down. And that should be fine. Yeah, okay. All right, let me see. I need to pause my music and then. All right, here we go. Let me grab. Warlock has banging audio, so we're going to do that. Where's the mic cartridge for that? Frogs breathe funny, and he got a frog from his boss's house. That is correct. That's two of the facts I covered. I think it's turned down. Yeah, it is muffled. I'm going to take that out. That wasn't the right move. Was the Frog Boy compatible with... No, it is not. I kind of briefly considered that at the beginning. There's just not the room for it, really. As much as I would have liked to have done that. But it also wasn't really, like... a big goal for me. Like, one of the things I covered in the video was like, especially for travel, I wanted to be able to have the LiPo with the USB-C, just so I don't have to like bring extra batteries or whatever. Obviously, it kind of like complicates the project a little bit. You know, if it just used AA's, then the whole battery charging circuit just goes out the window, basically. But, you know, some goals just don't align. So yeah, get out of there. I will have to try coffee filter at some point. Reminds me of the WonderSwan color. Yeah, kind of. The Neo Geo has also been brought up. The N-Gauge. As well as like the Leapfrog thing. I think there's a lot of comparisons that you could make, honestly. But yeah, I think I didn't finish saying it, but one of my goals eventually, and this isn't coming soon, I'm not saying this is coming soon, but I would like to have like spring contacts for them. So basically, like you have just you need Enig contacts for this to work properly, like Enig surface finish, the gold immersion on the board. But I think it would be nice to have those contacts on the front, have spring contacts on the speakers. You just drop the speakers in, you put the PCB over, you don't have to wrangle with wires. Love to do that, but you know, not a priority right now. There's other things ahead of that. LEDs, maybe. I mentioned earlier that I would like to do LEDs. They'd actually be pretty easy because it's a 4-layer board, so I can just like pop a via down to the 5-volt layer and, you know, easy peasy. Fewer moving parts is more better. Agreed. Yes. Anyway, yeah, we're in the home stretch here. We are very close. I think just need to get this other battery in here. I need to wait for this to heat up again. Would you ever consider adding video out? I know there are some cards that allow that, having it built in. No, that's like a whole thing. I'm not something I really want, so it's not a motivator for me. Nor is it something that I really have the capabilities for. Potentially, I know there are some HDMI out screen kits, so I don't know, potentially you could fit that in here and then, you know, somehow get it to work, but I don't know. Also, the cart position interferes with AA battery placement. Yeah, it would have to be like one AA on each side, but I think I have them for scale. I don't think you could really... Yeah, you'd have to enlarge it, or you'd have to go for AAAs or something. Because there's the screw post, which I guess maybe you could move maybe farther down, but... Yeah. Something I've realized through my long life, I'm not that old, but, you know, old enough to have gained some wisdom, and one of the things I realized is you gotta have realistic goals when you do projects like this. It's great to have dreams. It's great to have, like, you know, a grand vision for a project, but you know, you gotta be realistic as well, especially when it comes to something that, like, you're not an expert in, like, you know, for sure. Cool. Last thing is gonna get this cart shield in the back shell. Embrace the LiPo future. I hope we come out with something better at some point, because like I'm gonna have like 6 of these now, and I'm gonna have to like do maintenance charges on them. Otherwise, one day, you know, all my frog boys are gonna be like bloated. It is an Alphonse plush. Yes, thank you for noticing. My brother got that for me. I think one of the last times he went to Japan. It's very nice. The FPC would, yeah, it already has some junk in the trunk too. 1 second, I can show it. It's got a little bit of an ass on it for the cartridge reader. Oh my god! I just realized I forgot the screen. Jeez. I think I can do this. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We're good. I was about to be so upset because that would mean having to deal with the speakers again. I just realized I didn't connect the screen controls. I will do that later. I don't think it's called out. It might be on the GitHub, but there are test points on the front for start select AB, I think. So you can hook up the wires for the screen kit. Almost like you designed it that way. I know, right? Got a little goopy stuff. Yeah, okay. So power button going in. Just a backlight button from the SP. It looks like the fitment on that should be fine. I don't think it's going to be too tight or anything. Make sure all your screw holes are clear of wires and stuff. The speaker ones are the only ones that should really get in the way, if they do, but they are clear right now. I got something. Oh, right, yeah. They made the newer funny playing ribbons are slightly longer, which sucks because like this screw post here at the top was designed around the old kit where like it was never going to get in the way. I really wish they would just stop doing those kind of changes. It's kind of useless. I don't think there's any need for that change specifically. Moving the touch sensor IC to the ribbon itself, that was smart. That was a smart move. Because then people can just cut it off entirely. Is there something in this hole? What's going on here? No, there's nothing in that hole. I think this screw might just be toast. This is my bag of shit screws. Just one more. Okay, that screw is just... I think the threads on that one got stripped. Dang. Gotta crack out my kit then. Oh, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Is that going to be too short? I'm basically out of the 4mm ones. Cool. No, that one's long enough, it works. It's not ideal, but it works. All right, I got a volume wheel sitting around here somewhere, for sure. Like the one thing I forgot to prep ahead of time, apparently. I found it. Found it. Ta-da! Turns nicely, nice and solid. Okay, we haven't turned this on in a while, so okay. That'll have to come off with like alcohol later. Let's see what happens. Oh, gasp! It works. Let's throw a game in here. I am looking at chat, yes. Yes. Let's see how the audio is. Oh, that's so much better than without the foam. Look at that! Listen to how loud that is. And it's totally silent when it's, yeah, turned all the way down. Sweet. All right, well, let's put in a real game. You know, the people who know me well probably know where this is going. No, I took the foam out. It was very quiet. It wasn't really muffled. It was just quiet. Way too quiet. Even at max volume, which is ridiculous. So. Puzzle time. Nope. Let's see, this is a bit overexposed. Yep, I think that's good. Look at that. That went so smooth. And I like the colors. I like the colorway. Very, very pleased with that. Gotta give it some wipe down love. Ooh. There we go. Yeah. Thanks for joining, everyone. This was fun. I hope you've learned something. Do you anticipate any hand cramping from these ergonomics? I do not have a problem with that. I cannot speak for people with larger or smaller hands, but this is definitely more. It's definitely more comfortable for me than a regular Game Boy Color, which was kind of like the whole idea, anyway. But yeah, totally willing to stick around if anybody has more questions, maybe for like 10 more minutes. But yeah, I think that's basically a wrap. Otherwise, I'm just going to start doing more frog facts or something. Or like dropping secrets. Oh no. Thank you. Yeah, I hope it was educational for people. You know, for the sake of brevity and not having a 40-minute video, you know, I tried to cut down the main video as much as possible. So, you know, a lot of stuff is left out. So I think this is a good opportunity to like do things live. Any potential for you selling these in the future? I'm not really going to commit to that. They're not going to be in my store for sure as like a regular thing I do. If you are interested, you know, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Etsy. I do plan on like you know, kind of occasionally opening up like a commission slot or something if somebody wants one built. But it's not going to be a big thing for me. I know there's some people possibly watching in this chat who are going to be assembling boards at least, which, you know, is probably the hardest part to do. And at that point, you would just like go and get your shell and stuff ordered. So that's a possibility. But like, you know, if you've got the time, if you've got the drive, if you want to learn a bit about electronics, if you want to get better at soldering, you know, obviously do something else first, second, third, fourth, and then come back to this once you kind of know what you're doing. But I think it's a cool thing to work up to, kind of like with you know, Bucket Mouse's MGBC, for example. All right, I'm actually going to cut this early, but thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This was a lot of fun. It's turned out really well. Keep an eye out for additional things. Maybe additional live streams, we'll see. I got some other cool projects in the works. I did not do brightness with start and select, I forgot. But I have done that on my other ones. So there's test points on the front. Just want to get that last answer in there for people. But yeah, thanks for joining. I got more projects in the works, so keep an eye out. See ya, see ya.